Every year, millions of Americans visit Bavaria. They drink the beer, they eat the sausages, and they enjoy the bread that comes with them. And then they think, I have to make this at home. Bummer, it doesn't taste anything like the bread in Germany. What's missing is this. It's the spice. Today we're making bread spice and a spiced showcase rye bread to go with it. 4 versions of it, the basic one like this one, and then a couple of regional varieties. Why is that important for today's episode? Because we're going to bake Vinschgerl. That is a spiced rye-based sourdough bun from the Vinschgerl. The Vinschgerl is a valley in southern Tyrol, and I'm pretty certain most of you have never heard of it. Und los! Before we start grinding, let's talk about what these spices actually are. Caraway seeds, coriander, anise, and fennel. These are the backbone of pretty much any spice blend you would use in a bread. Blue fenugreek. Looks like regular fenugreek, and it smells and tastes a little bit like a cross between celery and a mild curry with a grassy note. The other one is hyssop. It's a Mediterranean herb that somehow made its way into the bread culture. It's slightly bitter and minty, but a little bit sharper than that. 4 blends as promised. I'll go through each and every one of them. This is the standard of German bread spice. Equal parts of caraway, coriander, anise, and fennel. You use it at a rate of about 15 to 20 grams per kilogram, so at about 1.5 to 2%. This combined is what you want for that typical mixed rye bread. Styria is in the southern part of Austria. The breads there tend to be quite hearty and a wheat rye mix. The Styrian bread spice consists of equal parts of caraway seeds, coriander seeds, and fennel seeds. And then instead of the anise that the traditional version has, this is cumin. A small portion, since cumin is very intense. And then we have roasted pumpkin seeds for a nutty note. Styria produces some of the finest pumpkin seed oil in the world. So it's not a coincidence that pumpkin seeds end up in their bread spice. This spice mix, since it has kind of a filler with the pumpkins, can be used up to 3% of your dough, so 30 grams per kilogram of dough. Gets a lot more herbaceous in this one. We have coriander seeds, fennel seeds. Then there's dried tomato. Powder or flakes is fine. If you can't find it, just leave it out or just toss a few sun-dried tomatoes into your dough. It's going to be good. And then we go thyme, rosemary, marjoram, savory, and oregano. This is clearly designed for breads like focaccia or even ciabatta. It also works well in a variety of flatbreads. Use 2 to 3% in your dough, so that's 20 to 30 grams per kilogram of dough. Worth noting, since this mix uses so many dried herbs, it behaves differently than the other ones. The flavors of dried herbs are a lot more volatile. They fade faster, which means your focaccia smells extraordinary when it comes out of the oven, but a day later, not so much. There's nothing you can do about that, except eat it quickly. And here's the fourth, the one that actually matters more today. Caraway seeds, fennel seeds, coriander seeds. That's the base. Then we have a little bit of thyme, a little bit of cumin, the blue fenugreek I mentioned earlier, the hyssop I mentioned earlier, and a teeny weeny little bit of regular fenugreek. If you can't find hyssop, I've got this from a tea bag, by the way. Better leave it out before you substitute something that doesn't work. This is also what gives a Vinschgerl its typical flavor. The traditional tool for this would be a pestle and mortar. That gives you a lot more control over how coarse you want it. Some people like it a little bit coarser because then you have little specks of the spices in the bread. However, because I'm lazy, I'm going to use a spice grinder. If you have a coffee grinder, that works equally well. You'd either have to clean it really good or not use it for coffee anymore unless you like a caraway seed flavored espresso. Your $400 Vitamix will do a very good job at grinding spices. and it will be very pleased to be used for something more practical than a smoothie. One pass, you don't really want to make a fine powder, you want to have some grit to it. The reason being, fine powder loses its volatile oils a lot quicker. And since my spice grinder loses spices on the lid, I use a little bit of cling film, which will prevent that. This is about as coarse as you want it. Ideally, you grind this every time you bake bread, and I know this is a little bit unreasonable to ask. So what I'm doing is I grind a relatively small amount, put it in a tight sealing jar, and put it into my fridge. So that way it will be good for a month or maybe 2. We start the night before with a simple pre-dough. Rye flour, a little bit of salt, an equal part by weight of water, and a sourdough starter. I'm using a wheat-based sourdough starter. The original recipe calls for a rye-based sourdough starter, but I don't think the difference is significant enough for me to start a second starter. Now just mix all this together thoroughly and then let it sit on the counter overnight for around 12 to 15, 16 hours. This is at room temperature, and with room temperature I mean room temperature in Louisiana, not upstate New York. You want to see this somewhere between 68 and 72. If your kitchen runs cold, find a warmer spot. Rye sourdough is particular about temperature because it lacks gluten. So essentially the starches in it have to provide the structure, which requires more heat. So keep this in a really nice warm place. Dark rye flour, bread flour, 10 grams of our bread spice, and then of course a little bit of salt again. The water needs to be warm, around 110 degrees. Let me give this a quick mix before I apply the water. I just roughly combined this, and now I'm adding all of that pre-dough. So once you properly mix this for a while, cover it and let it sit at a warm spot. Again, we need heat. Between 100 and 110 degrees is the goal. The dough will not double. It's not a wheat dough. It will get fluffy and it will puff up a little, but it will not per se double as you are used to from yeast or other sourdoughs. This is what it looks like. Dust your surface generously with rye flour, and I mean really generously here. And then get the dough out. This is still a sticky mess. Dust on top. You're essentially just using the flour so it doesn't stick to anything. Use a bench scraper and just get like 8 to 10 pieces out of this. There's no kneading or anything. All we do now is just shape this into kind of a round shape. And this goes very carefully. You want to deflate this as little as possible, and you want to keep it dusted generously. This dough doesn't really have any kind of surface tension. You just get it fairly smooth, round, and that's it. I'm using a baking sheet with a silicone baking mat on it. This stuff is sticky, so I'm not going to use my usual pizza stone. Vinschgerl are traditionally baked in pairs. So essentially you stick 2 of them together. There. Now let these rise for about an hour, but before that give them another good dusting here, because these things will crack. So you need some flour that you see the cracks afterwards. This is what you're looking for. Nicely cracked open. All that's left to do is to bake them. Preheat your oven to 500 degrees and make sure your pizza stone or pizza steel is inside if you're using that. For the baking sheet, no need to preheat that because it's so thin that it will reheat real quick. I find that for Vinschgerl, a baking sheet with a non-stick liner is the best. It makes handling these sticky buns so much easier. Put them in the oven, and the moment you put them in, reduce the temperature to 455. And here's what's different with Vinschgerl. They do not need steam. Actually, you do not want steam with them. The reason being, they're not rising dramatically in the oven. They stay kind of flat anyways, and you really want them to break open. So you want the crust to settle a little bit, because you already got the little cracks here and they will just be more pronounced later. Now, the reason why these are relevant to your summer grilling, they hold up to stuff. A Vinschgerl holds up to a burger in a way that a brioche or a regular burger bun cannot. It's very different than your usual bun. You can, however, ladle sauce and cheese on it like there's no tomorrow, because this bun will hold up to that. These are not ready yet. They have to cool down for another half hour or so. This I baked earlier today, so it's perfectly cool. This is what it looks like. It's a very dark and a very fragrant bun. You can already tell it's a chewy texture, but it's also moist. Rye sourdough improves over the first 24 hours. What is really hard now will become nice and chewy within a few hours. So don't think you overbaked them. Most likely you did not. Just wait a couple hours. And there you go, 4 spice blends, a nice bun that you can use in your summer adventures, and the reason why you always failed making a southern German bread.